The galaxy is burning. Brother fights brother, and treason splits the Imperium of Man. This is the Age of Darkness. Whether you're a warrior of the Legiones Astartes, an adept of the Mechanicum, or just a mere mortal in a universe of madness, you'll find a place here. Welcome to the Remembrancer's Retreat, coming to you from within the depths of the Vengeful Spirit.
Hello and welcome to the Remembrancer's Retreat, a Warhammer 30k and Specialist Games podcast. My name is Jesse. I'm here today with Steven, Ryan, and Caro. How's everyone doing tonight?
Hey, how's it going?
Awesome.
Hello.
So tonight we got a email from somebody, and we're going to go just right into that.
Emails.
That's right. This one is from Stephen Hillman. Or we'll just say Stephen. This one's from Stefan? Stephen? Stefan? Stefan? I think it's Stefan. He says,
Stefan, hi.
Yeah. And Stefan says, hey guys, thanks for all the great content during the quarantine. Definitely helps to keep motivation up. Well, you're welcome. As I've been working through my painting backlog, I've been thinking about an expansion of my Thousand Sons army for 30k, and was hoping you could provide some list advice. I like themed armies, and I've been toying with the idea of a force centered around Osiran dreadnoughts. Thanks to the FAQ/errata, it is now clear that at least they're supposed to be elite choices and not HQ. The theme in this case would be the Dreamers of the Osiran, as mentioned in page 151 of Book 7. In that reference, they're mentioned alongside the segment as more specialized military subunits, more readily identified as outsiders. It doesn't say much about them other than that they are Legion's cadre of dreadnoughts and those tech marines who stood attendant to them. I'm thinking this would be a great opportunity to use a Mor-Tif-I-Ca-Tor console from Book 8. One item of note is I don't think that the Mor-Tif-I-Ca-Tor can take Osiran Dreads as his unit. The Mor-Tif-I-Ca-Tor console rules state that the Dreads taken for his unit lose the Talon rule, but the Osiran rule specifies any Legion Contemptor Dreadnought Talon taken as part of a Thousand Sons detachment may be upgraded to an Osiran pattern Dreadnought Talon for 50 points per model. The Dreads in the Mor-Tif-I-Ca-Tor unit aren't in a Talon, then it seems the read as written would indicate that they can't be upgrades to Osirans. I'm not heartbroken over this and just need to mention it so we're on the same page. Okay.
I mean, that little technicality, I think, for the most part, I don't think people would have heartache playing against it.
Well, the good news is that you can upgrade Mor-Tif-I-Ca-Tor dreadnoughts to Osirans. The rules as written, or rather the verbatim, is that a Mor-Tif-I-Ca-Tor, when you take one, select a Legion Dreadnought, Contemptor, or Contemptor Cordis Talon. They're called specifically by Talon. So really, the Mor-Tif-I-Ca-Tor is joining a Talon. And they lose the special rule Dreadnought Talon, which really just means that they can't be deployed like a standard Talon. But they are still a Talon. They just don't follow the same rules as a regular Talon. So you can upgrade up to 5 Dreadnoughts with a Mor-Tif-I-Ca-Tor into Osiran Dreadnoughts.
Please
Yeah,
don't.
I think so. That makes sense.
He says he's looking at a 2,000 point list that can be boosted up to 2,500. He already has 2 Tech Marines and 2 of the original Thousand Sons Contemptor Dreads outfitted with las cannons and Power Fist, but they are magnetized and easily swapped. He's also got 2 Kiers and 2 conversion beams in his bits box if needed. For the rest of his army, he has the following on hand. Everyone get their notepads out. 25 Mark IV Marines with magnetized boarding shields and magnets to allow easy swap for melta-guns, flamers, or bolters. 2 are sergeants set up with swap arms between Power Sword or Power Fist and magnetized shields. He also has 20 Mark IV Marines set up for use as vets with weapons easily swapped out from bolters to combi weapons, as well as 4 guys who can swap between heavy bolter and plasma gun. 1 is set up as a sergeant with arms swappable between Power Sword and Power Fist. 10 Tartaros Terminators, 2 with Reaper Cannon and Power Fist, the rest with bolters and a mix of Power Swords and Chain Fists. A mix of independent characters including Ahriman, a Praetor in Tartaros pattern armor, and the Thousand Suns Praetor. A librarian in Tartaros converted using bits from both the Prospero box and a 40k Thousand Suns Terminator box, and the old 40k metal Aramin that he reworked for 30k. He also has a Storm Eagle, 4 jet bikes, 1 set up for use as a sergeant or independent character, 3 Castellax Archaea, 3 Castellax with Darkfire cannons, and 6 Vorax. He also has Magnus and the makings of 10 Kenetai blades still in the box. He originally bought the Storm Eagle to deploy troops, but after some disastrous crashes and subsequent loss of whole units, he has put it to shelf right now. He's willing to put it back into play if needed, but his poor librarian was the sole survivor of the first several crashes and now refuses to get back into it. He's willing and able to get 3 Osirans if needed, and toyed with the idea of putting them in drop pods, possibly as part of a rapid response force led by Magister Amon, for theme more than any specific rule. He has no tanks for the Suns. This is because his pre-Book 7 Bive stuff for this army was heavily influenced by the invasion of Shrike and 1,000 Suns, thus the Storm Eagle. The Cybernetica came after Book 7. He'd obviously like to reuse as much as possible, but he's also open to purchasing stuff other than the Osirans and or drop pods if needed. Thanks, Stefan. It looks like you've got quite a bit of stuff that you could work with, for sure.
Yes, there's a lot there that can be useful.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, how do you want to do this, Jesse? Because, I mean, there's like 100 ways. Did he mention a rite of war that he wanted to run in particular, or is he open to any?
Nope, he's
just Fluffy, I guess.
Fluffy and looking to make a force surrounded, centered on the Osirans.
How many Osirans did he say he had?
I had to read through the whole list again.
I know he said he had 2,000 Suns that had the blaze cannons and the power fists. And
it looks like he does not have any Osirans at the moment, but he's willing and able to get up to 3 if needed.
Yeah.
So in my experience, building a list around dreadnoughts tends to mean that you have to preclude other quote-unquote Death Star units. Your big blob of dreadnoughts effectively becomes your that kind of mailed fist becomes your Death Star. Doubly so when combined with a Mor-Tif-I-Ca-Tor, Morty, or whatever you want to call them.
Mor-Tif-I-Ca-Tor.
No, it's always my Morty.
So that being said, the Mor-Tif-I-Ca-Tor is definitely a good choice. It's a lot of psychic might, a lot of heavy hitting combined into one unit, and unless your opponent is also running something like a Death Star, a big chain fist blob of Terminators, a Primarch and Friends, Knights, they're going to be really hard to deal with. So at that point, once you've decided whether or not you want to run your Osirans with a Mor-Tif-I-Ca-Tor, or if you want to run them as like 5 different dreadnoughts running around doing their thing, once you've decided that, then it's kind of just however else you want to fill out the army. If you want to do rapid response, you could put some dudes in a Storm Eagle and go to town. Personally, I love the idea of a infantry-heavy Thousand Suns list.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Get all the nice Brotherhood of Psyker.
Mm-hmm. And I think I'm not, fully up to date on Thousand Suns rules or rights, but I know there is some rite of war, I want to say, that gives them deep strike, or that allows infantry units to deep strike. Or it might just be Terminators. I'm not sure. But that'd be kind of cool if you bought Dreadclaws for your Osirans, dropped them in along with the rest of your infantry, and then you've got like a real fast-acting force there. I know he wanted to put Amon in there.
Mm-hmm.
But that's one way to do it.
Yeah, I mean, go ahead, Caro.
Oh, just it sounded like the Storm Eagle is a bit cursed, but if he wants to do a dreadnought, or if you want to do a dreadnought list, keep in mind those things also tend to, or have chance of blowing up. I think didn't you lose a bunch of points once at a game because of a dreadnought, dread pod missing the table?
No, it was a dread pod. It was a drop pod full of Melta boys, and yeah,
lots and lots of points.
Didn't make the table, and it lost. Got lost.
That's impressive. It's really hard for a drop pod to
not make it onto the table.
Well, I've been known to do the impossible.
But here we are. I suppose that doesn't ease the sting of it, does it?
No.
No, but pretty much anything which lands from above has always a chance of blowing up. So that's something to keep in mind. It might also just be, give it another chance. Maybe the eagle will perform finally once all the fails are out.
Yep. So the Osirans, if he just put them base cost as a Talon, which, we already discussed that earlier, a basic Osiran is 225 points apiece. And that's just with a Twin Link Bolter and Force Blade. So you're looking.
They have approximately the same like a Twin Link Glass Cannon is going to be 25 points. Is it the normal cost?
Yeah, the points are still the same for them for everything else.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
Do you have to buy we need Jason out here. Do you have to buy the Psychic Mastery level separate, or does it get one when it becomes a Siren?
I believe it comes default. Mastery level 1 comes default with it.
Neat.
Mm-hmm.
I would go with the Mor-Tif-I-Ca-Tor. I'd bunch them all up with their Dreadnought dad. Give him a mastery level, give all of them a mastery level, and you're ready to rock.
Let's see.
I got something.
Sure.
All right. So, and this is just my playstyle. If you want to keep it, I love Centurion. I have several armies that don't have any vehicles in them, so I'm totally down with that. I think because of the cost of the Osirans, and if that's a unit that he really wants to run with the Mor-Tif-I-Ca-Tor, that you probably don't want to run more than 3 of those, personally, because by the time you have your console, the 3 Osirans alone, base cost, you're looking at 675 points.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, say, another 50 to 100 points of upgrades if you're doing... Well, I mean, the 2 Twin Link Glass Cannons are going to give you... That's 725. I would probably run a Conversion Beamer on the 3rd one, so that's... I don't know.
Now, why would you use a Conversion Beamer?
Well, if he's going to run the Las Cannons.
I see.
That way you kind of have the range. I like conversion. Even the short range conversion beamer is still not bad. So even if stuff got close to it, it's still not terrible. But if you're hitting things from 72 inches away, then you might as well.
Yeah. In my head, with the Osirans, the fact that they have a Force Blade means you want to get them up close and personal to begin with.
Well,
I don't know about that.
You could do
I mean,
that,
you have to buy
or
the
you
Force
can.
Blades
They
separate.
can also. They're also kind of a natural counter assault unit. So
Yeah.
you don't have to keep a lot to protect objectives in your deployment zone if those are the anvil of your army, right?
Right.
Whatever goes to try to get objectives in your deployment zone is going to have anti-tank. And if nothing's coming towards you, you can start blasting stuff with conversion beamers and las cannons.
Gotcha.
That's a way to play them.
Yeah,
Now, you can drop those down to carries or twin link bolters and keep them super cheap and move them forward. So that's a way. But, by the time you have your Mor-Tif-I-Ca-Tor, your options, you're at least looking at 800 points for that unit. Right?
Easy.
That's a lot. So in a 2,000 point list, I'd probably drop it down to 2 Osirans and a Mor-Tif-I-Ca-Tor, because you have a lot of other stuff going on here. So he wants to run Arrowman, which is cool. I look at this and I'm always like, I like infiltrating, I like deep striking, I like scouting. That's my personal thing. When you're playing Centurion, being able to get board advantage and take over good amounts of area is useful. So I would look at something like you do the Mortarion or the Morty with however many dreads you want to run. Probably 2 or 3 depending on the points level. You run Airman because you want to run Airman. Or you can swap him out for the Librarian if you didn't want to run a named character. I personally would take one of those Centurions that he had. If he had a Terminator Warmonger, or even just a normal Artificer Warmonger, and put the Tartaros Terminators with him. Alright, so you're deep striking 10 Terminators with a Warmonger. You got 25 potential Breachers, is what I read, right? He's got magnetized 25 Mark IV magnetized dudes with shields.
Yes, yes.
So personally, I would run 15 of those in the Storm Eagle, or probably 10 of those in a Storm Eagle. And then 15 of those just walking on foot, because 15 Breachers, they're pretty meaty. If you can get a couple apothecaries, it'd probably help a lot. So that kind of covers the HQ. You have the Tartarus, you have the Breachers. You might even want to run Pride of the Legion, because you have the Tartaros, which then can become troops. 15 Breachers, 10 Breachers. He's got the 20 Vets that are magnetized, so 2 squads of 10 Vets. And so now you're looking at 5 troops choices right there. If I was running the Vets, I would, in this configuration, I'd either get them Rhinos, or you can walk them on the ground, and I'd probably give them Stalkers with Foxes. So I'd let them scout forward, but you can, obviously, Vets, you'll have the option on deployment. I would scout them forward with Nuncio Voxes, so that when your Tartaros Terminators are ready for Deep Strike, they have precision Deep Strike. And then you're going to have your Tech Marines, I guess, which are just going to walk close to the big unit. I don't know how he's got the Tech Marines, or if he's got Servitors or whatever. And then, the jet bikes are good. 4 jet bikes are always good. And then I'm not sure about the Castle X and the Vorax, because I think those are going to be heavy support choices, right?
The Catholics-Achaia, I believe, is a heavy support.
Yeah, but like in a Legion list, when you have the Tech Priest or the Morty, I don't know if the Vorax are 0 to 1 heavy support choice. I know Thalax become a heavy support choice. So I think all 3 of those would be heavy support. But anyway, something like that. So you got your HQs are taken care of. You've got 5 troops, 10 Breachers and a Storm Eagle, 15 Breachers walk in. You can switch that up if you want. You've got the 2 squads of 10 Vets, however you like to load them out. 4 jet bikes, and then, you've got Castle X and 4X. That's going to be like a pretty brutal list, actually. Mm-hmm. So you pretty much have your heavy supporter maxed out. Your troops are almost maxed. And then, that's going to be a hard-hitting list. The only problem with putting stuff in the Storm Eagle is if you do put the 10 Terminators in Deep Strike, and you've got 10 Breachers and a Storm Eagle, that's like a lot of your army. 1,000 points right there, maybe.
Yeah.
In reserve. So if you're not feeling the Storm Eagle, then I would just drop it.
Yeah. So I just pulled out Book 7. I was looking at the Rite of Wars. They do have the Guard of the Crimson King, which would work out really well here, seeing as he had Azek Aramen he wanted to bring into the list.
Yep.
And there's really not much of a downside into this thing, especially when... Yeah, so here we go. Guard of the Crimson King. Effects: Astral Warfare. When generating Warp Charge at the start of any psychic phase, the controlling player of a detachment using this Rite of War may roll an additional d6 and select the highest of the 2 results. Pretty sweet. Wreathed in Lightning, they rend the veil. Any Terminator armor-equipped units in a detachment, along with any independent characters, and the Primarch Magnus the Red, may deploy using Deep Strike via teleport, so long as they do not have dedicated transports. When these units arrive via Deep Strike, they gain the Fear special rule if they did not already possess it, and may reroll failed and vulnerable saves of a 1 until the controlling player's next turn. So the limitation here is Sekhmet Cabals must be selected as compulsory troop choices for a detachment using this Rite of War, and may be taken as optional troop choices for the detachment if desired. He's got at least 10 Tartaros, so he can split those in 5, because I believe you only need 5 in a Cabal. Yep, that's correct. And finally, the bidding of the Crimson King means you can take Magnus as a compulsory HQ choice instead of a Lord of War. But you don't have to take him with this. You can either take him, Azek Araman, or a Thousand Suns Praetor with a psychic mastery level of 3. And you may not have more units with a vehicle type than units with a Legionis Astartes Thousand Suns special rule, and you can't take allies or fortifications.
Okay. I mean, so if you did that, you could drop the Warmonger and use a third Centurion, another Librarian, or whatever. The list pretty much stays the same. He just has, I think he said he had 20 of the occult guys just new on sprue, right? That he hasn't built.
Oh, yeah. He has the 40K Thousand Suns Terminator box. So, yeah, you can take that.
But is that the mandatory troops? Compulsory troops?
You need at least 2 Sekhmet Cabals, which is the Terminators.
Oh, okay.
So, and he's got 10 built already. So,
Nice.
Are those the Tartaros, or is that a separate set of Terminators?
Tartaros, but Sekhmet Cabal allows you to choose either or.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so he's got his 2 compulsories there. So that's going to bring him, if he runs the Breachers and the Vets. Oh, sorry. The Vets would no longer be, they'd be elites. Yeah, I mean, you could run it either way. So you could run that Thousand Suns Rite of War and still use all the same models with significantly better. I think that's a pretty good way to run them.
Yeah.
Or you could run something like Pride of the Legion, or you can even just run it as no Rite of War. So, I don't know. He's got a lot of good stuff. Paint it all and then give yourself options. Play with what you think you like, and then adjust after you've played a few games. That's a good way to build a list.
Yeah, I think you were definitely in the right direction there, Stefan.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you got everything you need. Storm Eagles are kind of tricky, but another way to play a Storm Eagle is to just not put anything in it. Use it as fire support, and then use it to scoot your troops around. After you're 2 or 3 rounds into the battle, and you kind of, if you need to reposition something quickly, you can pick them up and scoot them over. Like,
right.
You can just run it.
Storm Eagles
bare.
aren't.
Just
they're
don't
no
forget to
Fire
move
Raptor.
it.
What's that?
They're
No,
no
you're
Fire
right. They are
Raptor,
no.
but
They are no Fire Raptor.
They have some good anti-armor capabilities. You put a multi-melta and 2 las cannons on it. It's not super expensive for 2 las cannons and a multi-melta, but it does. It's good. It's good at cracking open 1 tank a turn.
Yeah. Well, I think from the being able to lift and shift a whole squad, like, fairly rapidly. Now, granted, this is going to be like probably turn 3 or 4, but if you're hard pressed in late game to get an objective, then that gives you the potential of picking up a 15-man breacher squad and trying to drop them on an objective and throw your opponent for a loop.
If that Storm Eagle lives long enough.
Well,
Yeah,
I mean,
so
who's going to shoot at a Storm Eagle that doesn't have anybody in it? Like,
Yeah. There's
if it's
and
the
I
only
personally,
thing-
I don't even shoot at flyers. Like, flyers can. I don't even care about flyers.
unless they're a huge threat like a Fire Raptor, I don't shoot at them either.
I mean, if they're coming in with like your Death Star, then yeah, you're going to try to take it down. If they're coming in slick, it's just a thought. I mean, you've got enough there to ease. That's probably easily 3,000 points worth of models with everything he's got, especially with Magnus.
Oh, hell yeah. And the
And
cast
the
slacks and
Caslax
everything.
and the Vorax, and like, you have lots of options. I would pick a couple ways you think you want to run it, try it out, and then adjust as you go along.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know what the Allies matrix looks like for the Thousand Suns, but you could always pick up a Tech Priest and run all your Automata as an Ally detachment.
Not if you take Guard of the Crimson King.
Well, yeah, but if you go like Rightless or something.
Oh, sure.
Although, Thousand Suns are the only ones with access to fancy wizard robots, but,
Yeah.
you can still use the model as a regular.
Mhm.
Ugh, regular Castellax.
Not yours?
Hmm?
Ah, have fun.
Well, I hope all that helps you out, Stephen. Give you a little bit of insight, but yeah, you're definitely on the right track with that. It's built, painted, go hog wild.
Yeah, just try it out.
And then
see
send
if
us
you like
pictures.
it.
Yeah, we want to see pictures of that.
Yes.
All right, what else do we want to talk about tonight?
Well, we got a Warhammer community has their usual articles are coming back, so we'll get Road to Thramas fired up again.
Finally.
Yeah, I think next Monday.
Yep.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Next Monday is
Or they
Road
said
to
the
Thramas.
first Monday of the month.
Mm-hmm.
Close to the, and then at the end we'll get a engine kill again, which I don't know about you, but I have been so thirsty for more information on Defensive Ryza. I have a whole third Titan Legio sitting in the wings, waiting to
Waiting
be
for
painted.
that?
So I know what I want to do with them. Because I was thinking I'll do Legio Voltorum, because when I first started when Titanicus first got announced, and everyone was saying what Legion they're going to do, Jason and I were both like, yeah, Legio Voltorum. But then never came any rules for them, so we all went, he did Zestabiax and I did Infernus. But now, we got Legio Voltorum coming back. So,
Hopefully.
my body is ready. I want to know what else they get other than Git's hot Mega Bolters.
Yeah, I do like that. They basically published a schedule for their articles, so all of those things, have some dedicated time, which is cool, and you know when you can expect them. And I'm very happy that Road to Thramas is coming back on, because that's very exciting.
All you Night Lords and Dark Angels fans.
Mm-hmm.
Especially you, Ryan. We were talking about it earlier. You just started another Night Lords army.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Night Lords 2.0. Let's get it going.
It's focused around terror squads, isn't it?
I have a couple lists, but I decided I was going to run Pride of the Legion. So this is going to be like a late heresy / scouring list. I picked up a chunk of models from a guy in the UK that had done some really cool kit bashes, and then I've been collecting bits and all that kind of stuff. So it's mostly going to be 3 15-man assault squads, because I have a shit ton of assault marines, Mark II and Mark IV, and then 3 veteran squads and rhinos, and then a Praetor with a command squad and a rhino and some other shenanigans. So it should be fun. I'm really looking forward to it. I just love being able to play around with some chaosy bits, and it really lets you do some fun things.
I feel you.
So, yeah. And the Assault Marines, I loved the Assault Marines in my first Night Lords army. And I was lucky enough to pick up 20 Mark IIs from Dave Sampson. And I got some Mark Vs. And so, yeah, Assault Marines are going to feature heavily in this.
They're so good with talent for murder.
Yeah, and they are the main anti-tank in my army, and I've seen how effective they can be with melta bombs, even though they're pricey, looking at over 350 points per squad. But
I mean, even at
price
300
for greatness.
Yeah, nothing comes cheap.
That's right.
Nothing good.
Nothing good, anyway. Yeah, looking at you, militiamen.
So.
Oh, don't let Austin hear that.
Austin's not here. Ha ha ha!
And he doesn't listen to it, so it's fine.
That's right. Now you're all sworn to secrecy. No one tell him I said that, or he's going to beat me real bad next time we play. To be fair, he might beat me real bad anyway.
I mean, it's typically what he does, isn't it?
Yeah, it's kind of the natural order of things. I get real excited to try something new, and then Austin just shows me the error of my ways.
Smacks you down.
Uh-huh. That's the way
Have
it
you
is
guys gotten
sometimes.
any games in?
Not
No.
since...
Nope.
So
I played
I guess
a...
this is topical, right? So playing games while social distancing. I got a game in with my Black Shields against my buddy Rob, who I painted the Sons of Horus for. So I got to play against the Sons of Horus with my Black Shields. And boy, is it awkward trying to social distance. Thankfully, he had a big basement, and we were able to do it. But like wearing masks and all that kind of stuff, it's totally feasible, totally doable. I don't know if I would do it in like a game store with more people, but if you have your own space and you have a table, and you're okay with inviting a person over at a time, then it's feels really good to roll dice again that are not on the computer. So
Well, one of something that Dave and I did, and so I'm for a second here going to regurgitate something that I read as far as like keeping yourself safe. Is when you're outside, the rate of transmission drops some ridiculous percentage. I think it's something like 65%. And then if you wear a mask while also outside, it drops to like a 90% prevention rate or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
when you're social distancing.
When you're social distancing, yeah, don't like
Not
get
like
right up on.
Yeah.
Don't go hug your opponent every turn, or at all for that matter.
Just
What's
don't.
the point? This is how I get my
keep
hug
your
display
distance.
heresy.
But and I know it's summer right now, so it's kind of painful to be outside. But if you have like a good level yard, a garage, a driveway, take 2 folding card tables, set them side by side, lay out whatever colored mat you need to, set up some terrain, and you're good to go.
Yep.
Plus, you're outside getting vitamin D.
Yeah, that's how I get a lot nowadays.
So really, it's a net gain for health. I'm not a doctor. I can't endorse that statement. But that's what Dave and I did. We played outside. We set up a table in his garage, and we stood at the 6-foot ends of it, and we played Titanicus.
Yeah.
Nice, yeah. Garage with grounds. Heck, if you have a playground somewhere, just play there, I guess, in the sand.
Yeah. And it was
I had
before
friends who
it
used
got
to do
like
that.
eyeball melting hot outside, so we were still in pretty good shape.
Yeah, southern summer. Screw that noise.
Yep.
Got any plans upcoming?
Yeah, get that Indominus box set.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. My
Who are you gonna sell your Necrons for? To?
All my Necrons are going to my girlfriend.
Nice.
Yeah, she wants to play zombie robots. So, and the new Silent King and Catan Shard of the Void Dragon just got shown today, and I was like, hey, you want to see some cool new stuff?
Yeah.
Bam! And she just lost her mind for a little while.
Yeah. Those are
They are.
And even ignoring the Silent King, the very fact that that the Void Dragon has been like acknowledged and given a model.
Right.
Because I was explaining to my girlfriend, like, hey, you remember I was talking about the Catan? Well, here's this guy, and here's why he's a big deal. And I started going through, like, the heresy and the schism of Mars and the events of Mechanicum, and I was like, wow, this really is a big deal.
Wait, is
that
this
in
dragon?
It's in Mechanicum?
Yeah, the Void Dragon.
Oh, right. This is where Dahlia
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
is watching.
The Dragon of Mars.
Yes.
Is all explored in Mechanicum.
And it's a good book.
Where giant spoilers arriving. If you haven't read Mechanicum, there's spoilers right now.
I'm going to have to revisit that
I haven't
then.
read it in over 10 years, so I
should
kind of
read it again.
vaguely remember it, but yeah.
Yeah,
What's up?
so Dahlia Cythera
is this Terran adept that gets brought to Mars to work on a project. And while she's there, she is having these visions and about a slaying of a dragon by a knight in gold armor on Mars. And
Oh my god.
yeah, I am also working from somewhat foggy recollection, so bear with me.
Yeah.
But she starts talking to other people about it, specifically her workmates, and they come to discover that yes, there's this thing hidden on Mars that the Emperor put here. And it's all done through allegory and metaphor. So for a long time, like the stuff
So this is
in
the
Mechanicum,
Forbidden Vault, right?
yeah,
that-
the Noctis
part of the-
Labyrinthus.
Yep, that's part of the deal that the Emperor makes with Mars is that you cannot explore. The
No,
Forbidden
this is
Vault.
not the Forbidden Vault.
No.
It's something different.
The Vault of Moravec is in Mechanicum, but the Vault of Moravec is not what contains the dragon.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Right.
Yes.
Because
Yeah, no,
Horus
that-
gave
that's
that
the
to
whole-
Kelbor Hall, right?
Oh
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah.
Asshole.
So they go to they find the labyrinth, and they go through the whole rigmarole of discovering, like, ooh, the dragon is here, and it's this big, like, silver chamber that's got all these glowing green runes on it, which, you know, any Necron player will tell you that's a tomb, that's a Necron tomb. You know, cue Leonardo DiCaprio meme where he's sitting up in his chair and pointing at the TV. And the guardian of the dragon, there's some tech adept there who promptly dies immediately, says
shows
in
up.
so many words, like, hey, this is the chamber of the dragon. The dragon was put here by the Emperor, and its dreams influence humanity's understanding of technology.
Oh, son of a bitch.
Yeah, she's the chosen one because she's able to reprogram the stuff, which of course is a horrible thing to do in that world. But she's
Yeah,
just
she
able to
has-
do it.
Dahlia has an innate understanding of engineering, which
Gotcha.
most senior magi don't have. So
Yep.
there's the Dragon of Mars, which was put there by the Emperor and influences humanity's understanding of technology via its dreams. And then there's the Catan Void Dragon, which is supposed to have dominion over machines, was fought and beaten by the Emperor at some point and then hidden away, presumably on Mars.
Gotcha. Okay. That's cool.
Which begs the question, how is this Catan shard of the Void Dragon out and about instead of taking a really long nap on Mars?
I wonder if they talk about it in the Indomitus book coming out.
I bet it has nothing to
well-
do with Belisarius Call messing around some
Yeah.
more.
Surely not.
No, of
well,
course not.
there was a bit from an older Necron Codex where at some point in the late 41st millennium, 5 Necron Jackal class raiders, which are technologically speaking more than a match for an Imperial battle cruiser, break into the solar system. Like, they just show up and they start making a beeline for Mars. And I think 3 of them get destroyed, but 2 of them land. They land near the Noctis Labyrinth, and then they just disappear. Are never seen or heard from again.
Dun,
So
dun,
presumably,
dun.
now this is old Necron fluff before their rewrite. Presumably, given what we know now, the Necrons infiltrated Mars, found the Void Dragon, broke it enough to get a shard, and took that shard away. But who
Okay.
knows? Not me. I don't know.
That's putting together some good pieces there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh
Man, no one to
the-
read Mechanicum again.
huh.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
as I was explaining, the Void Dragon's existence and confirmation as the source of humanity's technological understanding kind of means that it is the Omnissiah, whether the Mechanicum realize that or not.
The
Which
OG
means
STC, if you will.
Ooh.
Which means that the Emperor is definitely not the Omnissiah, and it means that he definitely, willfully impersonated the Omnissiah before the Great Crusade.
The
Which
Emperor
means
is
that
above
the
such
Dark
things.
Mechanicum, who's like, yeah, the Emperor's totally not the Omnissiah and lied to us, is right.
Well,
There's a lot of stuff tied to the Void Dragon that I didn't even like kind of comprehend,
that is something
until
I
I
never
started
thought
explaining
about
it
here.
to somebody else.
Man, Jesse, you need to explain me more stuff.
Yeah, the 40k lore is deep and rich.
Yeah, deep anyway.
So, I don't think you guys were here the other day, but Alex Self, one of our patrons on our Discord, asked us a question regarding the upcoming Indominus box, and he's scratching his head as what he wants to do with it. Like, he doesn't know what chapter to do or anything, and was wondering what we thought, or how we go about picking a theme or an army or a chapter.
Well, I mean, this is like the age-old. How do you figure out which armor you want?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, there's kind of a couple different ways, but you either read about it and think it's really cool, fluff-wise and narratively. A lot of people just see a color scheme they like and go from there. I mean, I'm kind of both ways. If I read a book that I really like reading the Night Lords trilogy, that's what got me set off on. Even though that's 40k Night Lords, that got me set off on my Night Lords journey.
Mm-hmm.
I've been trying to get rid of it ever since, and it won't leave my brain. So, I don't know.
I know for myself, I'm really, really leaning towards painting them as a Emperor's Spears army. Because I still have about 2 sets of Primaris from the original box set in 8th that I haven't touched yet. And I do like me some Emperor's Spears.
Intercessors.
Yeah.
That'd be
We've got
great getting
chainswords.
Emperor's Spears.
Yeah. However, part
Do
of
you
me
jump over buildings?
No, we've got chainswords.
a part of me still
Cool,
wants
make
to
it
hold
work, buddy.
part of me still wants to hold back just a little bit, because when the Dawn of Fire series comes out, who knows what we're going to see? Who
I'll
knows
tell you
what
what you're
new
gonna
chapters see. And
Ultramarines.
yeah.
Of course. The toilet seat guys. Well, I know out of the Indominus box set, I will work with the Necrons because, I'm not into the lore of 40k too much, and somebody gotta use them.
Yeah, I mean, it's always... sometimes all it takes to find some real cool stuff is to go to Lexiconum or any other Warhammer wiki and just hit a random article
Mm-hmm.
and start following the rabbit trail.
Definitely.
Ooh, I like that idea.
And honestly, a new starter set is such an opportunity for anybody.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if there was a certain scheme that you thought, maybe I want to try this out, but I really have nothing to go with it, now's the perfect time to try it out.
Yeah.
Also, if the
Kind of take a look at what kind of colors that you generally enjoy painting, or color schemes that, like Jesse said, you've kind of wanted to try out or look cool to you, but you've never really had an opportunity to try them. And then look at what Space Marine chapters are in those colors.
or just make them up.
Exactly.
Isn't that the beauty of 40k?
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
In 40k, like, the sky's the limit.
Yeah.
In that case, you could probably pick up the latest Space Marines Codex and choose, what kind of rules you'd like to play at that point.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's like, it doesn't matter which, founding chapter you're part of. You can do whatever color you'd like at that point. Just pick up some rules.
Dave suggested at one point to do a quick Google search, or maybe it was Jared, of the Badab War.
Yeah, I
And
think
look
it was
at
Jared.
the poster that came with that.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
It has all the Space Marine chapters that fought in the Badab War. There's some cool stuff on that poster, like the Star Phantoms. Star Phantoms look sick as hell.
Dark Angel successor.
That's when I started my Howling
Uh,
Griffins, was bad up. Just seeing them.
Yep. All praise to the Badab War.
I personally am not going to pick up Indomitus. I don't have. I am excited for 9th edition because I've finally got a 40k, the Sisters Army, that I'm really super stoked to play. I don't think I'm going to pick up the box set. But certainly, I mean, the models are fantastic. Like,
Definitely.
yeah. I mean, that's...
Every single one of those Marines is getting converted into a word bearer.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I think the price point, I don't know if they've released the price point, but it's going to be probably at least
It's $200.
$250. Is it 200?
200 US
It's
bucks.
200. Technically, it's 199.
Oh,
Well, that's better
wow.
than I
that
thought. I thought
checks.
it was going to be over.
Yeah, I thought so too. Between a rule book
all
and
did.
2 whole armies.
Yeah, okay. That's really good. So if you could split that with somebody, then you're in really good shape.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, $100 is not a bad way to get a new army started when it's brand new models. And there's a new chaplain in there too. Oh, I'm so excited.
Yeah, that chaplain's cool.
Yeah, and the chaplain on the jet bike coming out as well, looking sick.
Yeah, there's
AF.
there's the chaplain. There's the
Tech
dude
Marine
with the big old sword. Oh, there's so many good models in there for converting into heresy characters.
Yeah.
Finally gonna make a herald with the guy who's got the big stick
with the skeleton on it.
Yeah,
That's perfect.
herald.
That's perfect.
All the way. Yep, word bearer's herald.
Yeah. Can't say no to that.
Lord knows I've got enough chaos banners from various kits, so I should use one of them eventually.
I mean, what else would make you use it apart from a guy with a stick on, with a skeleton on a stick?
Man, I can't believe it's been almost 3 months since they revealed the lion.
Time moves fast, and also very slowly.
Yes.
Is he for sale yet, though?
No, not yet.
What are they waiting for?
Forge World hasn't put out any anything
their
new
production
yet.
They haven't started producing anything new. Or if they have, they don't have the supply chain yet.
Exactly.
They don't advertise it yet?
No.
Who knows?
Well, that's fair.
Any day now. It could be any Friday.
Really, really could.
True.
I miss those Friday mornings, just waking up and seeing what Forge World released today.
It was like Christmas every week.
It really was. Especially the past few months.
Oh yeah, you were super excited every morning.
I was setting an alarm to wake up early.
I was too.
Well, I set the alarm, I wake up, see if there's anything interesting, and then I go back to bed.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, cool, Lord of the Rings. Good night.
Oh,
Yay.
cool. Halfling
Game
hot
that I'll
pot.
never
Okay.
play. There are 2 kinds of people in this world.
Hmm?
People who admit to not playing Lord of the Rings, and liars.
I've never played it. Although, when they came out with the skirmish game for it, where it's like battalions or whatever, where you play like 30 models, I considered it for a small period.
The only person I've known to even own the models is Zach.
And he owns every kind of weird mini game.
It's true. Zach owns many a thing.
I was tempted when they came out with that latest box set, but I thought better of it. It's like, nah, no.
Not another one. I would have.
Got some Rohan.
I would have revolted, Jesse. I would have revolted.
Rohan Knights.
Nope.
But yeah. So yeah, it's 2 days away. We'll get back on the road to Thramas.
Yep.
And we'll finally have some more new heresy stuff to talk about. It's been kind of dry the last few weeks, not going to lie.
We're scraping.
So thank you guys for
heresy stuff to talk about.
Thank you guys for hanging out with us, even though we don't talk much Horus Heresy.
Thanks for listening and asking questions.
And in fact, right now we will thank our patrons. Let me pull up the old list here. And for the month of July, we'd like to thank our patrons, starting with Alex Self, Chris Mack, Jacob Dillon, Garner.Tree of Woe, Joe from Music City Heresy, Josh Phillips, Matthew Boyce, Mr. Baldwick, and Nicholas Quanga. Those are our praetors, and we greatly appreciate it. On to our centurions, we have Andrew N., Angry Boy, John Christensen, M. Tanzer, Mark Henry, Minis by Applesauce, Scott LeMay, and Black Label Painting. And finally, our Sergeant tier, we have Duncan, Emily O'Hare, Garrett Lowe, Travis Smith, and Aaron Maynard. Thank you all so much.
We love you guys.
And with that, guys, I think we wrap it up tonight. Unless you got anything else you want to talk about.
No, happy 4th of July.
Yeah, happy birthday, America.
I'm listening to people setting off fireworks. That
We are
I don't
too.
know what these people are doing with their lives.
Oh, geez.
Somebody is, but I ain't got time for that.
All right, well, everyone stay safe and keep those dice rolling, whether online or maybe soon on the table. I don't know. Anyway, keep those dice rolling.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to another podcast from the Remembrancers Retreat. If you enjoyed this episode, consider leaving a rating on iTunes or Apple Podcasts. You can also find our swag store at teespring.com/stores/RR30K Podcast. You can also find us on Facebook and Twitter at RR30K Podcast. You can follow us on Instagram at Remembrancers_Retreat. You can also visit our website, RR30K.com, for podcast updates and the Battlefleet Heresy Compendium. You can also leave us a voicemail for us to play on a future podcast at 1-929-437-3791. That's 1-929-HERESY1. And you can also leave us an email at theremembrancersretreat@gmail.com. Thanks again.